I want to be to honor the fact that you all got here on time. So thank you. We are recording this, and this will go up onto our YouTube channel so that people who can't make either one of our practice sessions can at least watch it. If you do not want your beautiful face on our YouTube page, then I would suggest that you turn your camera off. But if you do not care, if your beautiful faces are on our YouTube channel, showing the world how incredibly good looking our synod is, then please do keep your camera on. I'm Bishop Laura Barbans, and I'm here to help you get ready for our synod assembly this coming weekend. If this is your first assembly with us, join the club. This is my first assembly, leading it as well. I'm learning all sorts of things that I really never wanted to learn, but have to now. And so do you, because I'm assuming that all of you are going to be coming to the assembly virtually and not in person. If you're coming in person, a lot of what we're going to go over today regarding Zoom is not going to be helpful to you. So you can just disregard it. However, regardless if you're going to be in person or on Zoom, we're going to go over voting today, and that you have to know whether you're in person or on Zoom. You're going to need to pay attention. The first thing that I want you to take note of is that there is a way for you to change your name. And when you come to the assembly on Saturday, you're going to want to make sure that your name is there. So you can see right now that I am called NEO Synod. If I take it, I'm on a laptop. All right. But if you go to the participants, if you find the participants down at the bottom, and there's a arrow pointing up, and well, if you click on the participants or tap on the participants, all of the participants are going to show up in a little sidebar or a pop-up screen. You're going to find yourself, and there's a more, the word more, or there's 3 little dots. And you're going to click on that, and rename is going to come up. And so I'm going to rename myself so that people know who I am. And there, that happens just like that. So that is something for you to know. You can also then very quickly find out who is on your on the Zoom with you. Mr. Sleesman?
I need to make a technical correction. Depending on your device, when you click on more in your participant list, you can rename. However, that is not true on all devices that connect to Zoom. In some cases, you have to hit on your profile to do that, or you click on your picture and hit the 3 dots there, which will allow you to rename. Zoom is unfortunately quite different on different tablets and laptops, depending on the operating system.
Okay, so here we are, and we are getting ready for the 2021 Synod Assembly, which is going to be half it's going to be half in person and half online. Pretty exciting. We're going to be talking about how to get help if you're coming in remotely and the world goes sideways for you, which we all know happens in the electronic world. We're going to be talking about how to vote, how to gain recognition if you want to address the assembly. and also how to do a couple of other things just in Zoom itself. Before we start, the Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Let us pray. Holy and gracious God, what a wonder and a frustration technology is. But in this past year, it is one of the strange graces of COVID that we have learned how to use technology so that we can continue to be together.
Synod.
Thank you so very much for this time today. Help us to be as clear as possible so that when we meet on Saturday, we might indeed be doing your work, be your hands, your feet, your voice in our little corner of your kingdom. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
All right, so a really important thing that we all need to learn is how to mute ourselves. This is highly important. So somewhere, if you're on a laptop, you're gonna move your cursor over top of your own image and you're gonna hit the mute button.
And I thought I lost my hearing for a second.
No, see, I hit the mute button. So everybody, if you're on a cell phone,
Yeah, that's what I'm
then
on.
you probably just need to touch your picture and something's going to pop up and you're going to see a mute button there. If you're on a tablet, something similar to that, you just need to touch it so that the bar pops up. Has everybody, I see that, I see Andy's still having, and Michael has not, and Ray has not muted himself.
Oh, you want us to mute ourselves?
I do. It's very helpful if everybody, hey, that Reverend Abraham Allende is here. If he doesn't know how to do this stuff, we're all really in trouble.
I'm just trying to refreshen my memory.
All right. So that's the first thing, is learning to mute yourself and then remembering to unmute yourself once you're done. So you've obviously been able to log into Zoom. Yay! Congratulations. And if you're watching this on YouTube, perhaps practice logging in to Zoom. If you haven't already looked at the videos that are available on our YouTube channel, there's just a riveting one by Mr. Sleesman and myself. That is some good watching, the two of us. I do encourage you to do that because there's some really good stuff there. Most of us have been on Zoom for more hours than we possibly even want to think about. And so do we know how, well, we all just learned how to mute, right? Does everyone know how to unmute? Let's practice unmuting. Oh, look, let's see if we can get everybody unmuting. Oh, look at you all. You're so good at this. Okay, good. Congratulations. So then mute yourselves again. Do you know, and then likewise turning on and off your video, right? Especially on a long sort of video. Look at you guys, you're so good. On a long sort of video, if you have to get up and you're like me when you're on Zoom and you have your pajama bottoms on, you probably don't want everybody to see that. So remember to turn your video off before you stand up. All right, you all can come back. Great. Let me just ask real quick, is there anybody that has questions about how to do that? Just pipe in. Okay, good. There is a raise hand feature, but we will not be using that for the assembly. If you raise your hand at the assembly, no one is going to pay any attention to you. We're going to talk about how you gain recognition at the assembly. But raising your hand with this little, I can't even find it. I don't even know where it is. So
Under
there's a
the
little raise.
reactions. Under reactions.
Yeah, it's too, oh, there it is. Thank you. So see how, oops, there, I just gave somebody a little clap, right? There, Pastor Rosie did hers. We're not going to use those. So just take that down. Okay. Something that will be very helpful for you to do is to pin the live stream. So if everyone can find the picture that is named live stream, it has 3 crosses. It has our Synod Assembly logo, and then hover over that and there's 3 dots. Hit the 3 dots and you can see that it's going to say chat or pin. If everybody pins that for a moment, it should get to be huge on your screen. This is going to be important for you, especially when we're voting, so that you can see the results. You're
Okay.
not going to
I haven't
want
been
to.
able to, excuse me, this is Andy Tessick. I haven't been able to find that.
You may not be able to find that on a cell phone.
Okay.
You may just have to flip to it. I don't know. Tim, do you have an idea?
Yeah, it should be possible that he could find it. It would mean he would have to tap the little arrow or swipe until he sees it in the groupings. Because on a cell phone, it's going to have many pages
Right.
of video. So you'll have to just kind of swipe until you see it, then touch it or press and hold it, and then pin that one. Then it'll become the main view of your phone.
Yeah.
I'm not, this is Michael. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing it on the, I have a laptop. What am I looking for?
You're gonna hover over top of the picture
The picture
of
of,
the live stream. And then in the corner, you'll see 3 little dots as you're hovered over it.
Should be a picture of a cross there too. There is on mine. And then the 3 dots.
It also depends though, since there are more than 25 people on here, there may be screens that you have to scroll to.
is it
The arrows,
versus recognition host? Is that it?
Not the recognition, the one that says live stream.
I think we're assuming that everyone knows what the Senate Assembly logo is. So
It's named live
Yeah.
stream.
it says live stream, but there are 3 crosses in on the logo for the assembly. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, it's the one that's named live stream. And you just find that one, hover over top of it, hit the 3 dots and hit pin. And
Is-
then if you're having problems with that, stick around at the end and we'll work with you. Keep a
Okay,
list of that. And then once you're done and you want to see something besides the live stream, all you have to do is hit the remove pin and go back to the gallery view
Yep.
or speaker view, whichever one you would like. All right, we already practiced renaming, so that's good. The next thing we want to do is practice chatting. Because quite frankly, that's like the best part of being in a Zoom. You can have side conversations. Is everyone familiar with chatting?
Yep.
I got some shakes of the heads. Okay, so if you are on a laptop or a desktop computer, down at the bottom of your thing it's a bubble. It says chat. And right now it probably has a little 1 next to it because our Zoom guru, Marilyn Matibia, who is named Recognition right now, is personing the, she's our Zoom guru. So when you hit that speech bubble, a sidebar is going to pop up. This is going to be very similar if you're on a tablet, but very different if you're on a cell phone. I would like to suggest that you not be on a cell phone for Assembly Day, if at all possible. So down at the bottom, you'll see where to type. It says type your message here. And it says there's a little 2, and right now it should default to everyone. So if everyone would right now type in your first name and what congregation you're in, we'll practice chatting. So we're just going to see. All right. Everybody seems, is anybody having trouble? Once again, just unmute yourself and chirp in if you're having trouble.
Okay, again, this is Andy Tessick. I have to use a cell phone. That's all I have. So I don't know how to do any of that.
Okay,
just
can
doing.
somebody help Andy with a cell phone and chatting on Zoom? Does anybody know how to do that?
It actually depends whether it's Android or iOS, but
Excuse me, it's an Android system.
Oh, I
okay,
can't, I really can't help. I was
You-
gonna log in.
you should be able,
Yeah,
depending
hang on. I've got an Android here. Let me get logged in and I'll see if I can help.
Thank you, Pastor Rosie. All right, anyone else?
Yeah,
the bishop.
usually on our Bible studies on Wednesday night on Zoom, Pastor keeps me muted as much as possible.
Well, that is not the answer.
It is for him.
But it's funny.
It is funny.
The
Okay,
bishop did mention earlier that we're going to talk about how to get help. And on an individual basis, that may be the route to go because some of these things do change drastically,
Yeah.
yeah,
depending.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
There is something I'd like to say about the muting during the assembly. Generally speaking, the only thing that should be unmuted is the live stream, because otherwise the live stream won't be able to be heard because of the extraneous noise. So when you log in to Zoom for the assembly, it's best if you put it on mute and leave it on mute, as if it becomes unmuted, we're going to be looking through 300 people trying to find out who needs muted. And we can't necessarily mute everything because then we'll mute the actual live stream audio, and we don't want to do that. So keep that in mind. Try to keep your phones muted for the actual assembly.
Yeah. Okay. So the reason why chatting and knowing how to chat is important is this is how, should you come to the assembly, virtually, if you're coming in online through Zoom, the way that you're going to gain recognition because you have something to say to the assembly, is you're going to use the chat feature. But you're not going to chat to everyone to gain recognition. Now, gaining recognition is on the call with us today is Mr. John Sleesman. And Mr. John Sleesman is our parliamentarian, and that's why he's here. This means that we keep things above board, right? And legal. And so gaining recognition is a official term for how it is that you come before the assembly, and you can do that only in certain ways. If you're at the assembly, you come to a microphone, and if you're on Zoom, you go to recognition. So to go to recognition, over there where you just typed your name and your excuse me, and your church, you wrote it to everyone, so everyone could see that. When you want to gain recognition, you have to send it only to recognition. So you're going to hit that little down arrow. John makes fun of me because I call it a carrot. And you are going to find recognition. At the assembly, we're going to have two recognitions, recognition 1 and recognition 2, not to be confused with thing 1 and thing 2, but recognition. Andy, could you mute yourself again, just
Yes,
so that
ma'am.
we're practicing? Thank you.
Sure. Oh, by the way, I'm from Good Hope in North Lima.
Thank you, Andy. So you're going to find recognition. So if you could go ahead and find that and click on recognition. And so then it says there, it will say direct message to recognition. On page 17 of the pre-assembly materials are all the official things for which you can request to be recognized. Remote, how to do all this. And so you may, if you want to be recognized, you may want to read through those. You would want to, let's see. You need to start by saying your name, your church. Okay, so Laura Barbins, Northeastern Ohio Synod. And then you're going to say, I want to make a motion that, or I would like the chair to explain why, or I am raising a point of order. So that means that I stepped out of line somehow, and you want to raise that point. If you want to raise a point of order, these are very timely. So you have to put 2 little asterisks ahead of it. And this lets Pastor Julianne Smith, who's going to be monitoring recognition 1 or 2, know, oops, this one I got to elevate to the highest order. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is have you practice. So everybody except Andy, who we're going to work with a little later. Pastor Rosie is going to get you on board, Andy. So just hang tight. So first, make sure that your message is going to recognition, and then choose what you want to be recognized for. If you want to raise a point of order, 2 asterisks in front of it. after your name and your congregation. If you want to make a motion, and then you say what the motion is. I want to make a motion that the chair relinquish her spot because she's driving me nuts. It's not a real motion. You can't actually do that, I don't think. But you could pretend.
There is a parliamentary procedure to do that.
See, this is why John is here, right? So you can make a motion, or I would like the chair to explain why, at which point this chair would say, John, tell me why I just did it that way. So go ahead and practice that so that you know how to be recognized. You will notice that not everyone, those are not going to pop up in the stream like earlier, because only recognition is getting those. I'll tell you right now, John Sleesman and Tim Barrage, who is also on the call with us because he is our Turning Technologies guru. They very painstakingly wrote out a script, which I have not followed at all.
Oh, you followed this last section fairly closely. Of course, this was the part I was supposed to talk about, but that's okay.
Was it? Oh, I sure was. You were supposed to do that.
That's fine.
I would also like to, recognition would like to point out that we've had a motion to close the meeting.
I'm okay with that. I'll second that motion. All right, well then, Mr. Sleesman, since I took all your thunder, what did I get wrong?
Since you were reading my words, actually not much. I guess the only thing I would say is it's recognition here, but because there may be multiple people at the assembly that are watching for that, it may be recognition 1 or recognition 2 or whatever. They will all be recognition, but it may be recognition something else. And that's simply so multiple people can look at things. The other thing I would note is the reason for asking for important things that can't interrupt the business, like points of order. They have the 2 asterisks in front, is that the people that man the recognition desk have to get that to the parliamentarian so that what comes through remotely can be integrated with what comes through from the floor, so that we, as much as possible, try to keep things in the proper sequence. And the other thing I would reemphasize is the procedure we're describing here is if you are remote. It is not exactly the procedure that if you are going to be at the assembly, you would follow, because you would follow the traditional pattern there of coming to the microphone. Furthermore, deponent saith not, and yields back to the bishop.
Marilyn, how'd we do? Does it look like we got lots?
Got lots, and I tried to answer them as they came in.
Okay.
For the record, Julianne, Stu, and whoever else may or may not answer you on Saturday, depending on what you type in there. So.
Yeah, you may not get a response because they may be escalating your request so that it's timely, right? So don't expect, just because you don't hear anything doesn't mean something's not happening. That's important for you to know. All right, are there any questions? Other than Andy, who we're going to get on board? Okay. All right, so now we are going to turn our attention to how we're going to vote. We are going to vote the same, using the same technology that we used last year. That may or may not help you. As voting members, you ought to have received an email with your credentials for Turning Technologies. If you have not, please send a chat to Recognition and let Marilyn know that you did not. Unless you've already done so, in which case she knows and she's working on it. But if you did not get those, please, because they went out. If at all possible, having 2 different devices is going to be helpful for you. But if you can't do that, that's great. That's fine. You can still do it just from one. If you have if you're using a cell phone as your voting instrument, you're going to want to download the Turning Point app. It's called Turning Point. Hopefully you've done that. If you're going to be using your browser and just moving away, you want to go to the website called ttpoll.com. Again, all of that is in the email, and you're going to log in using those credentials. That in the chat, Marilyn has already put that TT poll, so you can just click right on that if you
And I also
need it.
say, I put the assembly email address there for questions about your credentials. That's not where to go for election. That's just for questions about your login credentials. You can email us at assembly@neos-elca.org.
So if everyone would go there now and log in. Either on the Turning Point app,
So just a quick question. So I used this last year on my tablet, so I didn't need to log in. It's just asking me for the session ID. I assume that that is okay.
I think you had to have new credentials for this year.
Oh.
Okay.
You may
I'm
have
gonna-
logged in with last year's credentials. Those do not count.
Okay, thank you.
So-
I'll
Excellent. Thank you for bringing that up. So if you were automatically logged in to that on whatever from last year's credentials will not work for this year.
At least they're not supposed to.
Well, unfortunately, my device isn't letting me log out. So I
Had you-
can try it
had
on
you
a different
logged-
device.
Had
well,
you already?
I just
logged
opened the
in?
app and, it automatically logged me in. So
But
I guess
they'll
I'll
give
find
us-
out when I try entering the session ID.
What was that, Pastor Roth? Did you have something there?
Well, similar, I'm not sure exactly, but you'll give us a session ID number anyway, correct?
Yes.
So.
Yes, but we will get a session idea. All right, so Tim Barrage is our Turning Technologies guru. Tim.
Yes, I'd like to recommend that if your app won't let you log out, go to a browser and type in ttpoll.com and log in from there. I've seen a lot of problems come about with that app, and the browsers seem to not have any problems at all. So if you're having problems, go to a browser. If you've been using the app,
Tim,
yes.
what you have to do, if you are in the app and it's mixed it up, if you go to the menu, there's a menu option to sign out. You can sign out there and sign back in with the correct credentials.
Yeah, just make sure that you're typing the credentials in and don't just select the ones that were previously entered, because most of the time they'll be saved. And that would probably just get you logged back in the way it was before. You want to make sure you use the new credentials.
Yeah, part of the problem that I had when I did my husband's, evidently he had Turning Point from some other time.
Yes, last year.
And I had to take away the app and put it back on and sign in with the new credentials.
Okay,
And so hopefully.
and then it worked?
I think,
All right.
so, but.
Thank you, Mrs. Weaver. Thank you for taking care of Pastor Weaver.
I need lots of that.
Okay. Is anybody else having trouble logging into Turning Technologies? Once you've logged in, you should see something that says, put in the session ID. And Tim is going to put up on the live stream what that session ID is.
Tim, tell me when it's time to make you host.
I don't think he needs to be host.
Okay.
You don't have to make me host.
So
That was when we'd
right,
encourage
that's
people
right.
to pin the live stream if you can.
yeah,
If you
So
can't,
if you
it'll
can
all
see-
appear.
yeah.
It'll all appear in the actual voting app. So you don't really have to see it on your Zoom screen. But if you wanted to, just pin the live stream window.
So there's the session ID in that live stream window, 360088. And that should get you into the session, our practice voting session. This is why we're practicing, right? So that we get through this here. The number again, 360088. You should not see a live stream image. What you'll see is you'll see the same image as the live stream. Yes. I'll show you. I have to get my screen. Where am I? See?
Excuse me, this is Andy Tessick.
Yeah.
Okay, I way behind. I finally got into the session number and put that in, and now I'm at sign in. And it says something about don't have an account, get started here.
Okay, you need to sign in to the account first. You have an account. It was in the email address and your password were emailed to you late last week, I think.
Okay, so I put
Andy,
in my,
I can help you when they get done. I'll help you with the
Okay.
Android stuff, okay?
okay,
There. Pastor Rosie is the best. The best, Jerry, the best.
excuse me, I'm a little bit slow with this stuff.
That's okay. We
Not
don't
a
expect-
problem. I can
Yeah.
walk you through it when we get done.
My
We do not
grands-
expect everyone, I've been working with this because I have to be able to explain it, right? Which clearly I'm not doing a very good job.
Well, you are, I'm just like, my youngest grandson says I'm a dinosaur. I rode one to school.
Bless
and I
his
used
heart.
stone tablet with a hammer and chisel.
All right,
I'll-
is
I'll-
everybody in?
I can stay on and help anyone with Android later.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We do have
Ms.
a question.
Gale,
Yes, thank you.
And again, remember, this is why we do have a help desk.
I am
That's
having
right.
trouble getting Richard.
hold on. Ms. Gale has a question. Go.
I'm sorry.
Mine is the correct login because this is my first time. It got me right into the app, but then as I showed you, this is on my phone. I'm doing the Zoom on a laptop, and now it's
Yep.
telling me to log in, but I was already logged in. That's how I got to this screen.
Okay, I think you're good then.
I'm gonna
Yep.
let you-
You're
Okay,
good,
so-
Lori.
So just showing that is okay. It's not okay.
That's what we're showing. I tried to do that with mine, but I don't think that's exactly what you're supposed to see.
Okay,
Exact-
very
yep,
good.
Yep. Weavers,
We are having problems here, big ones.
I can't find his email with his sign-in numbers. And
Okay,
it-
can you have yours, Darlene? Do you have your numbers?
I do, and I already have, I'm having him hold on to mine and.
Okay,
put
then
that out.
after the meeting, I will re-email his correct login code.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Everybody else, are you in?
Prayerfully.
Does anybody else have questions?
Yes, Bishop Arvins, Tom Griffith from Messiah Lutheran. I do have a question.
Sure.
Now, my wife and I are both going to be at the assembly, and we only have one device, a laptop. And I tried to log both of us in a different session. And as soon as I put in the second person, it picked up my first sign on and duplicated it.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna be able, Tim, do you have a workaround for Marilyn has a workaround.
There are two things you could do, actually. You can open a second tab on the browser if your browser is set up so that you could open up multiple tabs. You can open up a second tab for ttpoll.com and log that one in with your wife's credentials. Or you could open a second browser altogether so that one of you is on Firefox and one of you is on Internet Explorer, and switch between those in order to do the voting.
Okay, yeah, we did. I did create two separate sessions. The browser on ours is Microsoft Edge. And so I had one session where I was signed in, created another one, and then tried to sign her in, and it picked up the first sign on.
Try a different browser, maybe?
Yeah,
Um,
that's what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to use a second browser like Google Chrome or something for one, and then your Edge on the other.
Okay, I'll have to experiment with that then.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can also experiment with using what are called incognito tabs or anonymous tabs,
Mhm.
because those may let you open two at the same time.
If you have further questions, you can also email me at assembly@neos-elca.org, and I can write out the instructions for having two browsers open at the same time.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Any other questions about that before we practice the actual voting? All right, here comes the fun part. Everybody, if you're doing this on your computer, go ahead and navigate to where the voting app is. We have the session ID, and Tim is going to open the vote for us. And there's the vote. I can't even read it. So our question is, how do you feel about using Turning Technologies voting systems? This is a straight up or down vote, like several of our votes during the assembly. And so you vote, what you do is, if you're in favor, you vote 1. If you're opposed, 2. And if you abstain, which means you do not have enough information, or you feel as though you have a conflict of interests with this question, then you vote 3, abstain. So voting is now open. You press the number corresponding to your vote. And now, last year there was a little airplane to send it. But Tim, I do not see a little airplane.
There is no airplane because as long as voting is open, you can choose or change your vote. Once
Alright.
it closes, it will solidify your vote and that will become your vote.
So if you're going back and forth, like, oh, I'm in favor right now, and then you're like, oh no, I'm not in favor anymore, I'm in favor. So you don't have to do anything. I've said I'm in favor, but now I'm like, you know what, I better abstain. So, oh no, I'm gonna change my mind again. No, I'm back to in favor. And then the chair of the assembly is going to say, voting we have 15 seconds until voting is closed, at which, oh, I know, hold on a minute, Weavers, I see you. When I say that there's X amount of time left, then you know you're getting down to the wire and you really have to make a decision. Weavers,
Go ahead, you're on.
I just found what I needed. Thank you.
you're so welcome. See what happens? Good things come to those who wait and are persistent. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voting is now closed. At which point it will go away. It will say what your answer was. And then we will say to our Turning Tech guru, Tim, can we have the answers, please?
Yep, and at that point, the next slide with the actual answers would appear in the live stream as it's shown here.
And
Now
it
today,
also shows up in
today,
your app itself.
it only shows up on your app. During the Senate Assembly, it will not.
Okay.
Because once we move the slide forward, the election committee gets to see the results before we present it to the assembly. They have to approve and verify that it's a good vote before we present it as final data.
All right. So that's the first one. It's very simple. Then the second kind of voting is when we're electing people, but it's the same concept. It's just not going to say in favor, opposed, or abstain. And so the next kind is when we're going to be electing people. So here is the second kind of question. And now, as you see that, you can see there are 5 different people, in this case, characters, and 5 different characters, and you're going to pick your favorite one. Same thing, there's no arrow to send it. You just pick your favorite. The chair of the assembly will say there's 15 seconds left until voting is closed. She'll count down in her head. she may check on assembly day with Tim, the turning tech guru, to see if we've got mostly everybody voted. And then she'll say, voting is closed. At which point we'll get, oh, bugs. This is why John was making fun of me about saying carrots earlier. See, John, it was a subliminal message to get bugs to come out on top.
I see. More likely it was a subliminal message because you were thinking of bugs, you misspelled carrot when you meant the other kind of carrot.
Yes. And not the, is that spelled the same as the diamond carrot?
No. Which is also spelled differently than the gem weight, which gets real interesting.
Yes. All right. So that's the Turning Technologies voting. Are there questions about that? Again, if you would chime in, because I can't see everybody's hands wiggle waggling.
I will say that it works when you can get signed in.
That's true. Well, I'm glad that you guys were able to practice with at least one of your apps. All right. So we do have, during the assembly, there is a help desk. This help desk, you can call them, you can text them, you can email them. All of that is in your, all of it is in your pre-assembly materials, not only up here on the screen, but you might want to write this down. So anytime, and I'll tell you what, last year I was with a group of people and we were having some issues and I texted and bim, bam, boom, it was taken care of. So they're very responsive. We do not want to leave anybody out. If you're having problems, we definitely want to know. We do not want any disenfranchised voting members. Those will also appear in the live stream. But of course, if you're having problems finding those things, that's not helpful, right? Because you're like, I can't find the live stream or I can't get on Zoom. So it gets a little, so if you have those numbers, and again, those numbers are all in the pre-assembly materials. Okay. Other than me just stomping all over poor John Sleesman's lines today.
You're welcome to do that again tonight. I don't care.
No, are there any questions?
I could hang on after for anyone who needs help with Android stuff.
Thank you, Pastor Rosie. Ms. Gale?
I have just one last question. We're actually going to be live, but this is my first synod. You mentioned if we have issues, we will be going to the microphone, not on the webpage, correct?
That's correct. If you are in person, the way to gain recognition is to stand up and move to a microphone.
Okay.
And the chair will recognize you when she sees you, when it's at the appropriate place. And John Sleesman tells her that she can recognize somebody who's at her microphone.
As opposed to somebody who came in through the. Do remember, however, if you are coming to the assembly, the recognition is different. The voting procedure is the same. You will need to bring devices of some sort to vote.
And you can bring a laptop, you can bring a tablet, you can bring a cell phone. If you're having trouble with any of those items and making them portable, please speak first to your pastor and see if they can help. And if they cannot, then get in touch with us. Your first line of defense is always your rostered minister. Oh, oh, any other questions? Well, you all have just been a lovely audience this afternoon. I'd like you just to remember that your waitresses have worked very hard for you. Please tip your servers on your way out. Please give a big round of applause to Tim, the turning technologies guru, to John Sleesman, who did nothing because the bishop's tromped all over his lines, and to our ever-present Zoom guru, Marilyn Recognition, Mativia. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to seeing some of you actually in person Friday and Saturday. How totally exciting. Please, just so that you know, we have been able, because of the wonders of science and medicine, we've been able to open up the installation. There is no need any longer for you to have a reservation. If you would like to come in person, you are welcome to do so. Please know that masks are optional. Social distancing is optional. There will still be no singing. And we will be distributing communion only in one kind, so only bread at our assembly, at the installation. But I would love to have you present in the space. I think Pastor Rosie is sticking on the line here. So is Andy. They're going to talk things out. If anybody else has specific questions about your device or devices, you are welcome to stick around. Otherwise, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord look upon you with favor and grant you peace. Amen. Have a great rest of the day. God's peace.
You.